Hi everybody, Chip here. I told you a while back that I was going to do another video about the TC cutter from US Cutter. I kind of got busy and the US Cutter stopped carrying the TC series, so I really wasn't going to do it at all now. But I've had a couple requests for people to show it running, so I figured I'd give you all a look at it. So far I'm pretty happy with it. I had a little bit of a hiccup at first, but US Cutter made it right and got me a cutter that worked fine. Sorry about all the noise in the background. I'm in my little office and it has a rattly window air conditioner, and my mother-in-law's here with the dogs barking out in the living room, so I'm trying to muffle all that out. But you can see here, this is the software that comes with the US Cutter, well, just about any US Cutter now. It's the Shortcut Slot Pro 3. I was going to try to do this with Minicam so you could see it a lot better, but I couldn't get it to work right on this old computer. But this is kind of what it looks like. I'm running a 30-inch roll through my cutter, so these two screw-it stickers that you see on the end have already been sold, so I have to cut them. And in order to avoid waste, I threw those 3% Mullen Lob stickers. They happen to be a big seller for me on eBay, so I always keep a few of them on hand, so I just filled in the space with those so I didn't waste any vinyl. But that's what the Shortcut Slot Pro looks like. You give me a second, I'll spin the camera around and try to get it on the cutter for you and show you some of the odds and ends of it. Alrighty, with my my little room here being so compact and tight, I can't show you the whole cutter in one shot. But there it is there. She's all set up and ready to run. I've got a roll of 30-inch white vinyl in there now. You can see the roll down underneath. But that's what I'm going to be running. So far I found this cutter to be pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to run. Right now the blade in there has got quite a bit of cutting on it, so I've been having a little bit of trouble weeding, so I'm going to have to order a new blade before too long. You'll see it here in a minute after I cut it, how the weeding goes. But give me a second, I have to plug the USB cord into the computer, and then I'll send the cut to it, and I'll let you see her roll. One thing I should mention is, now that I'm back, is, like I said, I'm running the full 30-inch roll, which is about the maximum this cutter can handle. US Cutter says it's 31.5, but right now you can see my cutting head is almost out on the corner here, and if I take and run the head over, well, here, I'll do it. There. You can see when the head gets down the other end, it gets just to the edge of the roll there. Right there is about the edge. If I go maybe another quarter of an inch, you'll see it hits the stop, and that's it. That's all the farther it'll go. So you got to be careful how you line up your roll on it if you're running a wide roll. Narrow rolls are a breeze. I have no trouble at all with them. Sorry for the camera angle. I'm using my eyes above the camera to try to line it back up. And then I got to set the origin. I want it current. Enter. That's where I want it to start from. And with that said, I'll let you see her cut. Give me a second to hit the cut button here. Cut. It takes a minute for the computer to send the file to the cutter. It's about halfway there. And she should start here in a second. It started with some of the Mullen Lob stickers. It'll do all them first. I've got the roll on the stands back there like you should, but a lot of the times it'll sound like she's straining if you don't wheel a little bit of vinyl off behind it. You know, the roll's sitting on the stands, but I wheeled out about an extra foot of it, so it's just floating free in space, and that makes it a lot easier for the cutter to cut. But I doubt you can see the cuts on it if the angle doesn't hit it right. I'm sure you've seen videos on YouTube how vinyl cutters work. This one isn't any different. Like I said, I got the rattly air conditioner out there behind it, but as you can tell, the cutter itself isn't too loud. I mean, you get a nice Graph Tech or rolling with the servo motors in it, you won't hear it at all, but This isn't uncomfortable at all, and I'm in a tight enclosed room. The air conditioner is far louder than my cutter, so I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm going to cut the video off for now because this is going to take a minute or two to cut because I'm cutting all 30 inches across, and I'll cut it on when it's near done so you can see it. She's getting down near the end now. I'll try to... When she's done, the carriage will go back to the origin point and go all the way back over the other side of the cutter. These two are just little funny stickers that I found somewhere and copied. People buy them pretty good on Amazon. I'm a big gun nut too, so I do a lot of Second Amendment stuff on here. People buy that up pretty good. But should be finishing up here momentarily. And that's it. And then when she's done, you just you can see your cuts. Bring the top of your cut down past. I don't want to waste file. There's a little, see if I don't even know if I'm on camera. You bring it down to where you need to cut it, then on the very front of the plotter there's a deep groove. And that's simply to put a razor blade in. If I can find my razor blade, here it is. Cut that off of there, I'll throw it on the desk. And with these, I found that the pinch rollers on these cutters are very, very tight. If you leave the vinyl under there, it'll put pretty bad indentations in it and it looks ugly. So whenever you're done cutting with one of these, just unlock the pinch roller and just wind your vinyl back up onto the roll. Makes a world of difference. And then I'm done with the plotter. Turn it off, and I'll see if I can't reset the camera so you can see my work area. We just did a little bit of home renovations, and my home office has also become general storage, so I have a bit of a mess here, so I'm going to try to relocate the camera. Alright, so here's the strip I just cut. It hasn't been weeded out yet, so it doesn't look like much of anything. But what I got to do is, with the really poor lighting in here, I use a little flashlight. Throw a ruler across there. Find my individual decals. And then I'll just cut them out. I don't think I cut into my decal there. I hope not. No, I didn't. And then do the same thing. If you notice, I got a green mat under my roller, ruler and my vinyl here. They sell some ones. I don't recommend buying the one off of US Cutter. I found that it didn't last very long. I'm trying to find the manufacturer name on this one. It's pretty decent. It's up here on the top, buried. It's made by a company called Olfa, O-L-F-A. I found this particular mat at, I believe, Michael's Crafts. And it has held up so well compared to the US Cutter ones, the cheaper ones. This mat was like 32 bucks, give or take. It wasn't horrible. These here I'm in no hurry to weed because like I said, these are just for later down the road when people buy them. But I'll weed one out here for you. I'm going to weed the other two first just because I got to get them done. And that's what you get for buying cheap Harbor Freight tools, or Harbor Freight tools flashlights, but hey, they're cheap. 2 for $2, doesn't hurt my feelings to break them. man. Okay. Now there's all my decals separated out. And like I said, my blade is starting to go dull, so I'm not expecting miracles here. Usually they weed pretty good, but with a dull blade, might have a little bit of stickage issue here. Nope. It held pretty good. The part that I'm worried about is coming up here in a second. There's two little commas, and they're tiny. And you use your finger and it weeds right out. Easy peasy. And might worth a mention too is US Cutter sells all these little fancy schmancy weeding tools and picks and hooks, and best thing I found so far, simple X-Acto knife. And I think the only thing on this one to weed is the actual face right here. You just kind of get right there in the cut, pull it back, gone. And I keep a piece of scrap paper on my desk to stick that to, or you'll end up with it all over the place. But I don't know if you can see it or not, but there it is, weeded out. Let me weed out the other one, and I'll put some app tape on so you can see that process as well. What side am I looking at? There we go. It's weeding pretty good. I found here recently with this blade dulling on me that some of the smaller things just don't like to weed. I might weed one of these 3%ers so you can see that. But like I said, it's not a quality issue with the cutter, it's just the fact that I'm too damn lazy to replace my blade. And as long as it's working, I'm not going to push the issue. The US Cutter blades aren't all that high quality, so I tend to wait till I can kill them and buy a good rolling blade. There's the second one. And like I said, let's see if we can do one of these. I'll show you my sticking issues here. And it's usually on this letter E. 9 times out of 10, I screw this letter E up. That's why I keep one or two of them laying around. I took a piece of scrap and just cut some extra letter E's for when I screw it up real bad. Yeah, you got to get the little prongs, or the elongated part of the E is a pain in the butt. But once you get it to stick, the rest of it peels off fairly decent. Now you can see, I'll try to zoom in, I don't know if you can see or not. The E there, and that was the hardest thing to get undone. But as long as you pull slow and careful, you can see where the blade's getting dull. My A didn't stick down, there we go. Sometimes you gotta massage it. And this always, because it's a real thin bar, the bar here and the percent symbol. Daggum. I hadn't cut any of these real small ones in a while, so maybe I'm a lot duller than I thought. Either I'm dull or the cutter's dull. And don't worry if you pull up a piece of a letter. That can be straightened out later. That's what the X-Acto knife's there for. And there's one of those weeded out. Well, not weeded out. I pulled the the cut part off of it. And I kind of bent the line here a little bit, but that's what the X-Acto knife's for. Just pick it up until you get past the little air bubble that I left in it, and take my finger and run it back down. The A looks pretty good. Alright, no problemo there. Then the rest of weeding one of these stickers is, like I said, just take an X-Acto knife and pull anything that's enclosed out, like the center of a B. Pull my piece of scrap paper over here. Now, I've only been doing this a couple months, so I'm not the fastest on earth. You go into a sign shop, they can probably do this 100 miles an hour. But I try to be pretty anal about making things look good and not screwing up, because I do want to make a business out of this, and I don't want the reputation of people saying, well, damn, his stuff looks all chopped up and like garbage. And there's some people out there that don't care. I've bought a couple stickers off of eBay that I didn't like and just threw in the trash. And any others, there's a center of an O there. Okay, any more. That M is a little bent. Just lift it up and smooth it out. Butamus Maximus. Throw that in my cup so I don't cut myself with it. Anyway, there's that monster once it's cut out. I'm looking at my monitor upside down, so you gotta forgive me, the little screen on the side of my camera. And 3% Molotov. If you're into guns or if you're politically active, you know what that means, so I'll just leave that at that. But let me zoom back out. Here's my piece of scrap paper I was talking about. I stick all my weeding scraps to. So I'll kind of sit this stuff out of the way, get my flashlight out of the way, get these stickers out of the way so I don't mess them up. Those are done. Wow, forgot I had those. Yeah, you see I keep a bunch of these around already done. There's one that's already done and had the paper, the app paper put on it. Put that up there. These guys here have to be weeded out yet, so I'll put them out of the way so I won't mess them up. This one here I cut the other day. I might as well put some app tape on it. Don't want to use more tape than I have to, but app tape is cheap, so it doesn't hurt my feelings if I do. And here it is, app tape. I buy this stuff. This is a 12-inch roll by like 100 yards. You can see how thick it is. But I bought this from US Cutter. This is the Greenlee stuff. I usually don't like Greenlee Greenstar products. I work in the electrical field too, so I tend to think of Greenlee tools. But this is made by Greenstar. The Greenstar app tape, the paper tape is actually pretty good. The vinyl, I don't care too much for it. I use Oracal 651 for most everything. The Greenstar tends to feel thicker. It doesn't like to cut as well as Oracal. So, I mean, I'm not completely downing it. It's good if you're in a pinch, but now you'll notice most sign shops, they have like a little roll keeper on the end of their bench where they can pull this out and stick it right down. Me working alone in a crowded little room, I find it easier to roll it out sticky side up. Looks funny, some sign shop owners may laugh at me, but hey, what the hell. I do it works for me. So I'll take like one of my, see if I got the whole thing in there, I do. One of my Molotov stickers. And I'll just stick it down and work it on there. Here's another one, stick it down, work it on there. Hey, I got another one over here that I did the other day and didn't tape up. I'll stick it down and put it on there. And here's my screw it stickers. And if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to do the same thing here next to it without running over the app tape, which is what I'm trying to avoid. Alright, if I screwed that up, oh well, so be it. People wouldn't believe how cheap it is to actually cut these things. Pop that off. Roll your app tape back up and stick it on there. Get my keyboard out of the way. And flip that over. And I wrinkled it up a little bit, but it really, really doesn't matter. And it's going to pull it off if I try to fix it, so screw it, I'm going to leave it. And these little wrinkles on the app tape really aren't going to hurt anything. I'm still going to sell it the way it is, because you pull the app tape off in the end anyway. Just squeegee your app tape down real good, make sure it's good and stuck to the vinyl, so when your customer pulls the app tape off, they don't lose or leave letters or punctuation behind. And then the rest is simple. I'm just going to take a razor knife and cut them out individually. Hopefully you guys like this video. I knew it was a long one, but I had requests to do it, so I did it. Everybody have a good one.